Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Jairus. Very, very happy and thankful to the people that allowed this to happen. This is the first of its kind, or at least the first of a very long time. Yeah, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Professor Wei-Yi. And thank you so much, Professor Young, for giving your time for this whole series.
It's a pleasure. I am so happy to be here, the inaugural event today. And I'm hopeful that this will go on. The Masterclass is such an important aspect for young musicians, in the aspect of playing, in the aspect of participating as a listener. Should we introduce the players?
Yes, our first performer is Daniel Jung.
Daniel will play from Schumann.
Yes,
Kinderszenen. play so beautifully so many of these. I'd say it's one of the most difficult things to play it as simply as a child would, but not childishly. An important Schumann characteristic, which is split personality in his head. There is the E and the F. So he always imagines that there are two sides in his being. One being the passionate and active and nervous and outgoing, which is the F. And one is the E, which you ended beautifully with the dreaming. So Eusebius is the shy and embarrassed all the time about his feeling, but he has a lot of feelings, so he's embarrassed even more. This kind of, but he's sincere in every ounce of his feeling. Right? I believe what will be very useful. Your hands are fine, but your ears need to be better than your hands. Meaning, you already know the level of the sound that you need for this reach. Schumann does this a lot. He does a big interval to kind of symbolize how far apart they are, he and Clara. So this big reach needs to be well played in legato sense. And look, in the very beginning of the first piece, there are little breathing. So in the lower voice, it can be felt that it's as if violist is playing these notes in an up bow, therefore creating this kind of anticipated kind of sound. So be careful. Sorry, I got to get this right because it's so expressive to think. Look at the position of the hand. If it's so much vertical relation to the key, you hear the hammer. That's the nature of our instrument. So think of the note that you go from B is rather than you have two vertical things that will make a ping that you don't want. Try again. Think about, look, you are so high. Imagine this and this. We will work on that. Okay? So this is no exception. Often descending from. So think about sauna as a separated thing, but it's almost like you drape a nice big scarf over. So from slow to far, to me, it's shaped naturally as a draping device. Nice. You do it even better the second time. Now, very long. That's beautiful. Please relax the shoulder. Lift like an up bow in the bass. Good. Lift, like a string player. Now here comes the cello. There, your shoulder is really very high, so be careful. Those of you looking at the score, you see sometimes Schumann put retard in a row. And if we think about a retard as a generic slowing down, it's the best way to kill the momentum of the piece. The piece basically stalling rather than the expressive thing you're supposed to get. So I recommend whenever there's retards in a row, feel it like a small surprise. So first of all, key is a surprise. We're supposed to get, alright? But now the second retard is much more drawn out. So I recommend like there are 6 notes to spread these. So close to the fermata to put the retard rather than a kind of early indicator of a retard, because there's just one a moment ago. Second half, please. Yeah, that's not a nice sound. Surprise number 1. Okay. So experiment a little where you start your, my least favorite word, attack with detail. Number 4, as I said, the from the first piece. So here comes the same music with the child, right? So really you have to, not enough that you play the notes well, but you play in between the note better. So this note and this one, now play the internal thing to avoid that hammer does, because it's our instrument. Similar suggestions, so I'm starting to kind of point to a common thing in structure. He does the left hand again to despite the pedaling side. So I think these rests, they are worth bothering with because it creates a kind of almost a hesitating effect in this texture. Now the point is, number 5 is quite a positive one which you play. You know, and you can hear from the tonality, it's a very, as I said, positive and very sure, right? Something quite, you know what you're getting. Harmonically, it's very certain, which goes back to the previous one. I think we already felt that it's going to be happy how you play. Therefore, I think the happy isn't as special. Meaning, leave the child in begging, maybe even more whiny or even less certain in timing. In what you do, whatever it is, a pianissimo, whatever. But it's the not forecasting the next one that gives the real drama, in my opinion.